Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's show. This is Coach Ed's Amazing World of Your Sports, and I'm your host, Coach Ed. Now, today we're going to be going into the League of All Leagues coaching round. This is where we're going to talk about the League of All League Alliance and what's happening in the league. Now, the league is kicked off about 3 weeks ago, so we're going to go ahead and go over what's happening in the standings and some of the key players in the League of All Leagues Alliance. Now, the League of All Leagues is based on teams within New Jersey and Eastern PA, primarily the Philly area. And it's some really exciting, fun-filled action going across the league. Now, the league kicked off on July 23rd and 24th up in Paterson, New Jersey, where all the teams came together in one location and played their games for everyone to see across the league spectrum. And it was some really great action. And it was hot and heavy, not only on the field, but off the field, because that weekend was really, really hot. So first and foremost, kudos to everyone that was out there that weekend participating and making sure the event went off without any major hitches. Now, so far, we've kicked off and we played 3 games within the league. Within the 2 divisions, teams are slowly starting to separate themselves from some of the others. So what I'm going to do is start in the Northern Division. In that division, you have the New Jersey Hawkeyes, Jersey Sharks, the New York Golden Eagles, the Central Jersey Vikings, and the Brick City Tigers. Now, those are the teams that are comprised in the North. And all these teams are based out of Long Island, Roselle, Edison, Plainfield, and Newark. Now, the 2 top teams in the division are the New Jersey Hawkeyes and the Jersey Sharks. Both teams are standing at 3-0, so they're really putting in some good work to fight for the top spot in the North. Coming up behind them are the Golden Eagles and the Vikings. Both are 1-2. And then bringing up the rear is the Brick City Tigers at 0-3. Now, when we go to the Southern Division, those consist of the Tri-County Owls, the Overbrook Ducks, Northeast Red Panthers, Path Academy Assassins, and the South Jersey Thunder. The Owls are out of the Camden area. The Ducks, Panthers are out of the Philly area. The Assassins are in the Mercer County area, and the Thunder are in Voorhees, New Jersey. Now, the teams standing in the South are the Owls, Ducks, and the Red Panthers. They're all 2-1. The Assassins are 1-2, and the Thunders come up at 0-3. So that's the way the makeup so far in the first 3 weeks. This weekend will be week 4, and it'll be the midpoint because they're playing an 8-game season. So it's slowly, as I said earlier, starting to see who's going to rise to the top in each division. And again, like I said, it's really, really hot, heavy, and exciting. Now, some of the key factors within the League of All Leagues Alliance, in terms of scoring, I'm going to give you the top 5 teams that I've taken note of in terms of scoring. I'm going to give you their total points and then what their average is per game. It says the Sharks are at 78 points and they're averaging 26 points per game. The Hawkeyes are at 73 points and they're averaging 24.3 points per game. The Ducks at 69 and they're averaging 23. The Owls at 58 points total and they're averaging 19.3. And then the Red Panthers at 47 total points, averaging 15.7. Now for points allowed, that's the defensive side of the ball. You have the Hawkeyes giving up a total of 19 points. That's 6.3 points per game. Wow, that's really low. The Ducks, 26 points total, 8.7. The Assassins, 35 points at 11.7. And then the Owls Owls and the Sharks have given up a total of 48 points both, for an average of 16 points per game. Now, some of the leaders, top 5 in stats, starting with the quarterbacks. Heading away is Emmanuel Cabasa of the Jersey Sharks. He's thrown so far for 482 yards, completion rate at 56.1, 4 touchdowns, and he has a QBR rating of 130.3. Next, you have Rashawn Roach Jr. of the Hawkeyes. He's thrown for 285 yards, an 81.8 completion percentage, 6 touchdowns, and a 158.3 QBR. Next is Anthony Redd, 253 yards total, 40.9% completion percentage, 3 touchdowns, and 104.7 in QBR. You have Chris Andrews of the Golden Eagles, thrown for 196 yards, completion average of 54.3, 2 touchdowns, and a QBR of 89.7. And then you have, in the number 5 spot, Tyreek Smith. He's thrown for 162 yards, 54.3, 3 touchdowns, and 151.3 a QBR. So there's some pretty decent quarterback play heading the league this year, and it's going to continue to step up as we go. Now, in terms of the rushing attack, the top 5 running backs, nobody's cracked over 100 yards. You have Kyle Albizer. He's rushed for 72 yards, 5.5 average, and 1 touchdown. He's from the South Jersey Thunder. You have Ian Brown of the Eagles, 67 total yards, 8.4 average, and 2 touchdowns. Andre Green of the Thunder, 52 yards, 4-point average, and no touchdowns. Rashawn Roach of the Hawkeyes, 41 total rushing yards, 8.2 average, and no touchdowns. And then you have 2, bring in the 5th spot, Walt Sampson from the Thunder, 40 yards, 20-yard average, no touchdowns. And Chris Andrews of the Eagles, 40 yards, 5.7 average, and 1 touchdown. So, the running backs, the rushing attacks really need to step it up, or maybe that's just a factor of the defense really limiting the rushing attack and forcing every team to really have to pass. Now, in terms of the receptions, the top receivers are Lance Fisher of the Sharks. He's caught 180 yards for 22.5 average and 2 touchdowns. Derek Caden of the Sharks, 145 yards total, 14.5 average and 0 touchdowns. Savon Daniel of the Owls, 119 yards, 39.7 average and 1 touchdown. You have Shamar Survey, I hope I said that right, of the Sharks, 110 yards, 13.8 average, and 1 touchdown. And then you have Kareem Stewart of the Hawkeyes, 81 yards, 27 yards average, and 2 touchdowns. Now, you see the passing attack of the Sharks is very prolific because you have 3 of the top 5 receivers in the league on one team. So that's one of the reasons why Cabasa is leading the way at over 400 yards passing. Now, defensively, the top tacklers are Gerard Fletcher of the Hawkeyes at 14, Rashawn Rawls of the Hawkeyes at 13, Elijah Wandell of the Hawkeyes at 12, Edwin Evans of the Hawkeyes at 12, Charles Faulkner III of the Sharks at 11, Kendall Daniels of the Eagles at 11, and Tamar Whitehurst of the Eagles at 11. So, there's some pretty good defenders out there, making a way. So, the play in the League of All Leagues, for a new league, has been pretty decent. We do expect it to continue to grow, as teams get a little bit more continuity, get out there and play more games. And as we start to close out and get towards the end of the season, going towards the playoffs. So, it's really exciting. I'm looking forward to seeing more. And I hope you guys will be going out to the games and checking out, all the hard work these guys are putting out there on the field. So I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the League of All Leagues Coaching Lounge. I'm your host, Coach Ed, and I want you guys to have a great and safe week. Peace.